Alright boys, we are bringing it back to the channel, man. We got the top 5 supports for 2019, June, right? Yeah, June 10th, 2019, top 5 supports. Here we go. So, before we get into this, let me just say that this role is absolutely stacked now. I'm talking about, it's ridiculous how many top tier support units, because there's so many good support units, I can't even put them all on the same list. I'm gonna keep it a whole bean. So if a unit doesn't make it up here that's a support unit, and you feel like that they deserve to be up here, more than likely I felt the same way too. It's just that there's just not that many, too many units, not enough spots. So yeah, but let's get into this, man. Top 5 supports, here we go. So the honorable mention, we're going to mention Sonny as the honorable mention. The reason for that is the reason why she just isn't on the level of everyone else. The reason why she's a number, or not even number, she's just an honorable mention, is more so just like I said earlier, there's too many good support units, and there's just way too many people, man. I'm talking about way too many good top tier support units to put everyone on one list, and it's ridiculous. I mean, you can, but you know, I only got 5 spots. So Sonny is an honorable mention. This is still a phenomenal unit. She has not fallen off at all. She's still one of the best support units for light, mono light in general, and even without mono light, she still is one of the best support units. What does she do if you do not know what she does? Her skill will increase her skill CT speed by 20%, and you give all allies 5 art gauge. And I think it's the skill CT speed is actually to everyone as well for 8 seconds. Really good, and that's an 8-second cooldown, so you constantly have that buff up. You have your normal art, which is literally an absolute godsend. It's amazing. It's all allies get 2 art gauge up for 15 seconds. It's a normal art. It's really good. That's 1 less than Finn, so Finn gives 3 art gauge every time he uses his true art, and Sonny only gives 2, so that's pretty solid. And then also she has her true art, which her true art is really good overall. It gives you a 30% art damage buff. Also, she's paralysis and freeze resistance while doing it, I think, or it gives everyone that, which is pretty good. And then, like I said too, you know, 30% art damage buff if you are of the earth or light elemental typing. You're going to get an increased 30%, so instead you're going to get 60% art damage up, which is ridiculous. That's 10% more than Mako, so that's really good. And then her abilities are phenomenal as well. We got maximum HP 10%. This will increase all allies maximum HP by 10%. You also get revenge level 2 at the time of, or whenever you're near death, you're going to get 2 art gauge every second, which is really good. And then you get True Eyes, which is accuracy 30% up for all allies and 30% crit damage. Really good with anybody that can crit. Also really good for Crest Palaces, especially if you don't have Pronos or the Monocle, whatever you want to call it. If you don't know what that is the one from the Fin event, which gives you 30% crit, not 30% crit, good lord, 30% accuracy to all allies. That's what it does, and it's really good. It's very useful in you know, of course, Crest Palaces and stuff. But if you don't have it, then Sonny is a perfect replacement for it, because she has it just as an ability, and she gives it to all allies. Also, her slots are absolutely phenomenal. She has 2 5-star support slots, meaning a multitude of items can go in those that can help your team, and then she has a 4-star magic item, which is really good. So that is Sonny, and she is super top tier. Still, do not think just because I mentioned her as honorable mention she's completely useless. She is amazing. Now moving on to the actual top 5. At number 5, we got the girl Asirpa. Please, good smile, when are these buffs coming? I know you watch these videos, I know you've seen these videos before, so when are these buffs coming, my guy? I need to know. So literally, if you don't know, Asirpa and Shugimoto, both units from the Golden Kamui event, are actually in their nerfed state. We have not got the buffs that the Japanese version has. In the Japanese version, Asirpa actually gives 25 art gauge with normal art and 100% defense increase, which is really good. And Shugimoto, I think it decreases attack by 60, or what is it? I think it's 80% right now or something like that, right? He decreases by 100 or something. It's something crazy like that. But still, you know, this is, they're in their nerf state, and I want them to be buffed because they're going to be a lot better once they're buffed. They're going to have a lot more longevity to them, so please, good smile, when are these buffs coming? So if you don't know what the girl Asirpa does, her abilities are very good. She has freeze resistance level 10, means that she's completely immune to freeze, which is pretty good, pretty what is it, a homage to the anime, I guess you could say, because literally she lives in the snow. She's used to the climate, you know what I mean? She lives in the mountains, so she's perfectly fine with the snow and the cold, so it makes sense that she should not be able to get frozen. She also gets accuracy rate level 1. Of course, she uses a bow. Makes sense that she increases her own accuracy by 10%, and then she gives the beloved child of the Ainu, heals own HP by 120 every second, increase own art gauge by 2 every second. Really good natural art gen, very good. We have her skill, which is a chance of poison. Like I just said, said, her normal art will increase all allies art gauge by 20 and increase all allies defense by 80% for 10 seconds. Also, it gives a 20% HP heal. I think in JP, the HP is 25, the art gauge is 25, and the defense is 100%. So if you have her in the Japanese version of the game, you know how good she is over there, because she's very good with certain comps whenever you need a lot more tanking to take on certain events. So she's very good for that. Also, her true art, which no one really uses, but it still has some use here and there. What this does is whenever you use it, you reduce all allies skill CT speed by 100%, you reduce equipment CT speed by 25%, and increase break power by 25% for 12 seconds. A lot of buffs right there, a lot of stuff's going on, and that's actually overall, all those buffs are really good, especially for units that are able to give themselves own art gauge, like Vox. Vox is going to be phenomenal with this unit if you want to use Vox alongside her, because what this will do is if you use your true art with Asirpa, you'll give Vox 100% skill CT down, right? Which means that he's going to be pretty much having his, having his skill CT. So I think Vox is at a 10-second cooldown, and then if you use Asirpa's true art, then he goes down to 5 seconds, I think. And then plus, you got to also think that his true art, or not his true art, but Vox's Magia Drive, whenever he's in it, it gives you 40 art gauge a second. While he's in well, not 40 art gauge a second, good lord. While he's in Magia Drive, his skill gives 40 art gauge every time you use it, so you can reduce that down with this true art and make it very, very good. Not only does this work with Vox, it works with a multitude of other units that are able to increase their own art gauge with their skills, so definitely use it if you want to. Also, reducing equipment CT speed by 25% is really good as well, and increasing your own break power by 25% is really good. She actually can be pretty solid against Rags. You can actually take her in that, and then, for example, to help the Platina or whoever your breaker is break Rags, you can actually use her true art to give them that 25% more break power and everything, so you can actually get away with that. But overall though, most of the time people will just tell you to spam the normal art, because overall the normal art's going to do you a lot more in the long run. So yeah, that is the number 5 spot. If you want to know what a crest to put on, or actually didn't say it was for Sonny, but pretty much with all these units, let me just say, crest wise, with all of these units that I'm going to mention, equipment CT is the thing you want the most. So that is that. Now moving on to the number 4 spot. Number 4 spot, we got the boy Awoken Finn. You guys definitely know what this guy does, man. He's been around in the game so long. He's probably the most long-term unit we have in the entire game. No matter what happens, unless they release Finn 2, which they did, but he's a Dark Finn and he's not really Finn 2, but still. Well, he is Finn 2 for, I guess, Dark units, but unless they release Finn 2, this guy isn't really going anywhere on the list. He is an amazing unit, so versatile, able to fit on any type of team that you want to put him on. You can put him on a team with 4 stars, still going to be able to support your team, still going to be able to do work for your team. So what does this man do, OP? Why is he so good if you are a new player and you actually do not know? Well, this guy's skill is 1850% earth damage physical. You will increase your all allies art gauge by 4 every time you use it, and you also heal 3% HP for the ally with the lowest HP, which is very, very good. This is on a 7-second cooldown. 3% HP also scales with their maximum HP, so the more HP you have on a unit, the more that 3% heal is going to do, but of course it's only going to target one person at a time, and it will heal them by that 3%, so keep that in mind. It's going to target whoever is the lowest HP, which more than likely is going to be himself sometimes. So yeah, his normal art is pretty solid, but most people don't use it, goodness. His normal art is 13,100% earth damage physical, increased allies equipment CT by 25% for 20 seconds, very good. Equipment CT is always very phenomenal, but overall, you know, there's other things that you can do. You know, there's equipment that you can use, like for example the monocle that Finn actually has from his event. That actually reduces equipment CT whenever you use it and all that. So there's a ton of other things that you can do, and I wouldn't really recommend using the normal art, but it's still good there if you need to use it. For example, if you're doing an event where equipment is overall better than, let's say, like sorry about that, I just hit the mic. Equipment is overall better than, like, I guess, unit damage, because some events, like for example Gilliam, and I think Gilliam is the only one where equipment damage actually does more damage, so you know, you can maybe get away with using this and try to just get equipment off CT faster, but still you don't really use it too much. What you are going to be using though is his true art. His true art is absolutely phenomenal. This thing will increase all his art gauge by 3 and equipment damage by 50% for 20 seconds. Absolutely ridiculous, man. This guy is OP. I use this man on every single team that I can, literally. He's one of my favorite units and is my favorite unit from the story of Grand Summoners. He is amazing. Literally, I love this man. I'm being serious. This man is absolutely ridiculous. I use this man all the time. I never ever make a team where I'm not using Finn unless I'm using mono teams. That's how good he is, and that's how much I use him personally. So yeah, guys, that is Finn. Make sure you guys get him. Everyone in the game should be able to get this unit. You can get him from the unit of choice ticket. Every new player gets that unit of choice ticket, and there is no doubt that you should not pick Finn. There is no unit that can rival Finn on that entire list. Maybe Rim, maybe Rags if you already have Finn, but if you don't have Finn, there's no reason you shouldn't pick this man up. Let's talk about the girl Mako now. So Mako is, like I said, the number 3 spot. She could be higher, she could be lower. It just depends, because let me just say this too before we keep going, is that they have made support units now to cover everything. What I mean by that is, you want an offensive support, you have Mako. You want a defensive support, you have Asirpa. You have Priestess, or Priestess can keep your team alive alone by the barriers that she can put up. They have units like Rimuru. You need a support that gives you art gen and also gives you immunity to status elements. Rimuru. You want an art gen unit that just does a ton of art gen for your entire team. Finn, Sonny. They have support units for everything now. So it's very hard to really say who is the best, because it's more so just whatever fits the circumstances for the current event or the current boss you're doing, more than likely. So that's one thing that I want to say too. But this right here, Mako, the girl, she is still really good, phenomenal unit, probably the best light support unit right next to Priestess, which is amazing. What this unit does is, with her skills, she'll increase her own arc gauge by 5. She also has Honkai Punch with or Honky Punch, I guess, which is her normal art. What this does will reduce the enemy's action speed by 30%, and you will increase damage to enemies by 30%, and you will reduce your own skill CT speed by 120%. So this skill is going to be constantly coming back up, which means you can constantly start getting art gen going. With that, you don't really use her normal art a lot, but you can use it because she does do some damage with it. Let me tell you, she packing some heat. But her normal art, or not her normal art, but her true art is where she really shines though. Literally, Mako Showtime. Increase all allies art gauge by 4, heal all allies HP by 300, and you increase all allies art damage by 50% for 12 seconds. Really good. This is a very offensive support unit, let me just say. This girl is used on a multitude of teams still. I use her a lot still. She is still really good, and I think that she's a phenomenal unit. Her slots are amazing as well. 5-star support, 5-star heal, and 4-star physical. She's literally made for mono light. There's no reason that she shouldn't be on your mono light team unless you just don't have her, which I hate to, I'm sorry. But literally, she was made for mono light. What I mean by that is, with the 5-star support slot, literally put any type of support item, the 5-star heal, literally put light relic 10k in it, and then the 4-star physical, you use Mako Knuckle because it reduces her skill CT even more, and it's just phenomenal. Overall though, her abilities are still really good too. She has equipment CT 10% down by default. You can even equip a crest to that, get that even lower, so her equipment CT speeds are extremely fast. You have HP recovery amount up. She'll heal her own heal amount 20% up. I actually don't know if that includes the heal for the true art. What I mean by that is, I don't know if by default her true art is increased by 20% to everybody or just herself. I think it's just for herself. Of course, this increases the true art for everybody, so now this right here is Fight Club President. You reduce physical damage by 30% and reduce duration of flinching, so this is really good. So literally any type of physical boss that you take Mako against, she's going to instantaneously reduce their damage by 30%, which is really good. Gives her a lot of survivability. And also, let me just mention, this woman, this girl, has iframes. Whenever she uses her true art, she's completely invincible while she's using her true art. There's nothing in the game that can hit her. There's nothing in the game that can do damage to her while she is doing her true art. Literally, she literally pretty much just phases to another dimension, and she just does her true art, and you can't do anything to stop her, which is ridiculous. But yeah, that is Mako. She comes in at number 3 spot. Like I said, I'm still a little bit wary where to put Priestess, you know what I mean? But still, that is. So like I said, we're actually going to be looking at the banner to talk about Priestess, because I actually don't have her. She's actually the only support unit from crossovers I don't have, which that may change because I don't know. I may do some summons on it to try to get her. But this woman is absolutely ridiculous. What she does is she'll negate all ally, well, her skill, let's start with that first before we go into the true art, because the true art's is ridiculous. Her skill is she'll heal all allies HP by 500, 10-second cooldown, pretty good. Her normal art is Holy Light, 8,800% light damage magic, high chance of blinding the enemy, and increase all allies art gauge by 25, really good. And then her true art is negate all allies damage for a total of 6,500, which doesn't sound like a lot, and you reduce your own skill CT speed by 100%, and you increase your heal effect by 100% for 30 seconds. Now let me just say this, okay? Let me just say this. this True Art does not negate all allies' damage by 6,500. This is actually I don't know if this is a typo, this is just what it says on the banner. What this actually does is every character on the field will get a 6,500 shield, but it will be combined. So for example, every character on the field, 6,500 per character. So she's able to put up a barrier bigger than the Borg Thetis. And it's ridiculous. So per character, that barrier will get added up. It is an AoE barrier, so it's not like one unit has the barrier. It's AoE, so all units have the barrier. And I think as soon as like it goes away, it goes away for everybody. You know what I mean? So literally, it's a huge barrier. She reduces her own skill CT speed, which reminds you that is the heal, and then she increases her own heal effect by 100%. So you get a 1k heal because 100% is double heal, or double. So you get a 1k heal. I think you have the skill CT cooldown, so you get a 5-second 1k heal, which is ridiculous. And then not only that, you still have your normal art, which gives everyone 25 art gauge if you want. The only thing that I can say about this that would make this go even more ridiculous was if the barrier was actually a little bit lower and actually on the normal art, and then the chance of blinding was on the true art. That would have been ridiculous, because that would have been OP as fuck. So literally it would have been crazy, but still, that is Priestess. I think she is very, very good. Like I said, I'm going to have to see where, a little bit in the game to see really where I should put her, you know what I mean? Like if I really think that she is the second best support unit in the entire game, or if she's maybe a little bit lower, a little bit higher, at first or whatever. But yeah, for right now, man, she's still really good, and yeah, that's Priestess. She's phenomenal. And then last but not least, we have Rimuru. Now let me talk about something about this boy right here. So this man Rimuru, right? Like I said, I'm not even for sure if he is still number one. Because of Priestess, and I'm not for sure how much I value other units above him. But I use Rimuru a lot. I use him more than Mako now. I use him more than pretty much any other support unit I have apart from Finn. I use him and Finn on the same team all the time. And overall, I feel like Rimuru is just a really strong unit. His normal art is able to heal everybody's HP by 30% and also increase everybody's will increase everyone's status resist by 100%. So pretty much makes everyone it's not the same thing as Fina. Fina completely makes it to where you cannot be affected by status resist at all, or that's not status resist, but statuses at all. Rimuru raises your status resistance by 100%. And the thing is about that is that that's still good. The only thing is that if a unit or a boss is able to lower the status resistance of your allies while this buff is up, then you do have a chance to get afflicted by a status. But most of the time, at least the bosses currently in the game, a lot of bosses in the game currently do not have that, so we don't really have to worry about that. I don't know if later on, with the mines and everything, if those bosses are gonna have it, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, right now at least we're perfectly fine. Like I said, it's perfectly fine with the normal art how it is. Now his true art is actually really good. It's 26,000 water damage magic. You lifesteal by 3% of the damage, which is kind of whatever. And then you also increase all allies statuses. Well, I don't know why it says status, but you increase all allies stats, okay, by 20. And you get 3 art gauge for 15 seconds. That's really good. The art gauge can actually stack with Finn. Very, very solid. Makes him really good to run alongside Finn. And being able to increase all ally stats by 20%. What this is, pretty much, if you guys didn't know this, is current HP is counted as a stat, apparently, in the game. So whenever you increase all ally stats, this actually heals by 20%. So you'll actually get everyone a 20% heal whenever you do this, which is pretty solid, while also increasing their max HP by 20%. So you pretty much are able to heal them with this, which is kind of ridiculous. So yeah, it's really good. And I think Rimuru, if you're starting out in the game and you actually pulled him, I think he's going to help you get through a lot of content in the game, because he has a cleanse, he has resistances to all elements, and he's an Argent unit, and he's able to increase all stats, which is very solid. Makes a lot more units tankier to be able for you to, survive a more bulk of damage, I guess. And overall, I think he does deserve the number 1 spot. But of course, like I said too, Priestess may overtake him, or Priestess may fall off the, fall a little bit down on the list. It just depends how it's coming, because like I said, I'm going to be gauging this off of more in-game content. and I don't know if Priestess is going to be just the savior for a lot of people in in-game content, like the mines and all that. I'm pretty sure she is. So we'll have to wait and see whenever that comes out. But yeah, guys, that's actually gonna be it for the video, though, man. I'm sorry that it, was a little bit longer than usual, about 22 minutes, at least right now. So I won't keep your time any longer. Also, let me just say too, is that tonight, boys, we're gonna be streaming over on Twitch, of course. I always post it in the community section of my YouTube. We're gonna be streaming on Twitch. We're going to be live streaming some Grand Summoners, and then when afterwards, about 8 o'clock, we're actually going to go watch the Square Enix press conference. I'm a huge Square Enix fan. I love Final Fantasy and all that. I love Final Fantasy, I love Kingdom Hearts, so I'm hoping to see some stuff for those games. Also, I'm really hyped to see the new Avengers project, because apparently they're showing it off tomorrow, or later tonight, so yeah, I cannot wait. But yeah, guys, that's actually going to be it for the video today, man. Thank you all for coming out. It's been your boy OP, and I'm out, guys. Peace.